Today's lesson is a picnic party. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
I am Roger, and today we are going on a picnic, or to be more specific, we're going on a picnic party, although most people say they're having a picnic or they're going on a picnic or whatever, and that's when you basically have a meal outside someplace on a lawn with a picnic basket with some nice food, and you're probably going to be playing some games as well, like Frisbee or playing with your dog or whatever.
There you go. As the weather warms up here in Taiwan as we head into spring, yeah, it's a good time to think about having a picnic. If you can find a nice dry day, the warmer weather will make it a really nice time to eat outside in Mother Nature, sit under a nice tree, unwrap your sandwiches on your blanket, and just enjoy being out in the great out of doors in the fresh air. So let's find out what you need to plan the perfect picnic party. And we're going to say a lot of these P words coming up, so please do pay attention as we get into the first part of the dialogue. A picnic party. 1. Planning the picnic essentials. Tony and Zoe are making plans for a picnic. So what are you thinking for food?
Let's keep it light. How about some finger sandwiches, fruit skewers, and chicken salad?
Sounds tasty. I can also make some lemonade and brownies. Drinks and desserts are my specialties.
Perfect. And let's bring reusable cups and plates to be eco-friendly. I'll also bring a big picnic mat so we can enjoy the park in maximum comfort.
Smart. Meanwhile, entertainment can be my department. I'll bring a board game, my guitar, and maybe a badminton set.
Cool. Say, should we invite Sarah to join us?
Sure, the more the merrier.
大家好，第一部分介绍名词 specialty， 指拿手菜或是招牌菜。例如 The chef can cook anything, but his specialty is seafood. 这个大厨擅长各种菜肴，但海鲜料理才是他的拿手绝活。或者 Green curry is a specialty of Thailand. 绿咖喱是泰国的招牌菜。再来看到形容词 maximum， 表示最大的或是最高的。例如The room was filled with the maximum amount of people it could hold. 那间房间的人数已达上限。或是 Henrik plays his music at maximum volume. Henrik 以最大的音量播放音乐。另外补充这个字也可以当名词使用，表示最大限度或是最大值。找个例句 The hotel room can be used by a maximum of 4 guests. 该饭店客房最多可提供4位房客使用。或是Peter's car can fit a maximum of 5 passengers. Peter 的车最多能容纳5名乘客。
Okay, so part 1 is planning the picnic essentials. Okay, so an essential is just something that you have to have, in this case, in order to have a picnic. There are essentials for all sorts of different kinds of activities. If you want to go hiking, for example, some essentials would be some good hiking boots, hiking pole, maybe some waterproof clothing, kind of hat or something, maybe some sunscreen or whatever. Those are essentials or things that you need for a particular activity. And yeah, what sort of picnic essentials are they going to bring?
Yeah, absolutely. Generally, we would use essential as an adjective, right? This is essential. You must have your passport if you want to fly. But also those things that are essential, we can call those essentials. So imagine, yeah, you're making a list of things before you start the activity so you don't forget anything. So let's check it out. Tony and Zoe are making plans for a picnic and probably talking about some of the essentials that they'll be taking, things they absolutely don't want to forget, because if you forget an essential, it might kind of ruin your whole plan. So, Tony begins, so what are you thinking for food? In other words, what kinds of food should we bring on our picnic? What kind of menu would you suggest? And Zoe says, let's keep it light. So she's talking not just about the weight of the picnic basket, like not a lot of food, in other words, not a heavy basket, but also when we say light with food, we mean, not too fattening, not too sweet, not too sugary. Things that are generally healthier would be things that are light. So making some sandwiches, taking a bunch of fruit, things like that. We're not going to be taking a whole fried chicken and 3 kilograms of French fries or something like that.
Or we're not going to slaughter our own pig and have pork chops.
Definitely not going to bring a whole, 2 racks of barbecue ribs or something like that. So light and healthy, and also easy to prepare and easy to transport as well. The other good thing about light food is often you can eat it cold, so you don't have to worry about reheating things. How about, here's some examples, how about some finger sandwiches, fruit skewers, and chicken salad? Okay, yeah, all very light, easy to pack, easy to prepare, easy to transport, and easy to eat without knives and forks and stuff like that. Finger sandwiches, so basically take kind of a piece of bread, make a sandwich, and then cut it into 3 pieces, as if those sandwiches are sort of the shape of fingers. Fruit skewers, so you can get some skewers, which are pointed wooden sticks that we often use for barbecuing. If you've been to one of those Japanese barbecue places where they do like teriyaki chicken, they'll often put the chicken on skewers. And of course, anyone here who's done a Moon Festival barbecue during the fall at the end of the summer, you'll often cook things on the fire using skewers, these pointed wooden or metal sticks. So have them with fruit, though. Have some cut up kiwi and apple and strawberries, stick them on that skewer, that stick, and eat them that way. And chicken salad. So we'll make some sandwiches or eat it as a salad out of a bowl or a container.
Sounds like some pretty good ideas, but if I were planning my own picnic, I'd have full sandwiches and not the small ones.
Okay.
I have a pretty big appetite. And Tony likes these ideas. He says, sounds tasty. Those are some pretty good ideas. I can also make some lemonade and brownies. Drinks and desserts are my specialties. So, of course, they're preparing these different kinds of food for the picnic. Again, they have finger sandwiches and fruit skewers and chicken salad. And Tony's going to add his own ingredients here. Lemonade. Okay, that's a drink you make with lemons and maybe honey or sugar mixed around. It's a very tasty kind of drink to have on a hot summer day on a picnic. And brownies, those are kind of like chocolate cake, but they're a thicker kind of chocolate cake, and maybe they have frosting or icing on them and nuts included in the cake batter there. And yes, indeed, these are his specialties. A specialty is something that you do very well. You're an expert at that thing, usually through lots of training and experience. So he's done this before. He makes some really wonderful lemonade, and he makes great brownies. And of course, the people who are participating in the picnic will enjoy eating those brownies and drinking that lemonade.
There you go. And they should be pretty good since they are his specialties. That's also a handy word when you're visiting a new restaurant and you don't really know what they do or what they do well. You could say, what are your specialties? In other words, what is the restaurant famous for? What are some of your more popular dishes that you do at a very high level, you're really good at? So your specialties. And Zoe listens to all these options and this kind of menu that's being put together. She says, perfect. All right, so they've got the main courses with the sandwiches and the skewers and the salad. They've got some drinks. They've got some sweets for after. The brownies will make a great dessert. And she moves on to other important essentials. Let's bring reusable cups and plates to be eco-friendly. Good for you, Zoe. We're not bringing any of those paper or plastic things that we're going to end up throwing away. We're bringing reusable cups and plates. Maybe they have plastic camping stuff that they can bring home at the end of the day and wash, so nothing will really end up in the garbage. So that's very good. I'll also bring a big picnic mat so we can enjoy the park in maximum comfort. Because yes, when people have a picnic, they would generally prefer to sit on the grass, to sit on the ground, as opposed to a bench or something like that. It brings you back to nature, and it's kind of nice, lovely feeling to sit on that grass. It's as nice and soft as you enjoy the beautiful weather. So a picnic blanket or a picnic mat, which would be a little bit thicker, protect you from getting dirty or wet sitting on the ground, so they can enjoy the park in maximum comfort, the most comfort possible. The maximum is the most possible or the most allowed. So basically, we're going to be as comfortable as we can possibly be in the park without bringing the bed from home and lying on the bed in the park, which would obviously be a lot more work. They can bring this picnic mat, and so sitting on the grass will be very comfortable, and it will be a great way to enjoy all that great food.
And here's what Tony says. Smart. That's a good idea. And meanwhile, at the same time, while we're doing that, entertainment can be my department. Okay, of course, we got departments in your company, the research department, the manufacturing department, or whatever. But in this particular case, it's kind of a slang term. That's what I'm responsible for. That's my specialty. So I'll take care of entertainment. I will arrange entertainment. Of course, we can't just sit there and eat the whole time. We need to do other things besides eating and playing on our phones. We could perhaps play board games. So I'll bring a board game, and he'll also bring his guitar to play some tunes. And maybe they'll bring a badminton set. Okay, so you'll have to bring the rackets and the birdies and the net. You can set yourself up and play badminton. Yeah, that sounds like a good way to enjoy a picnic by enjoying those kinds of activities. Maybe he could even bring a deck of cards.
There you go. So it sounds like they've got a pretty good day already planned. In fact, this day seems so good. The entertainment seems so much fun, like it'll be so much fun. The food seems like they'll have a lot and it'll all be tasty. Why not include someone else? The more the merrier, as they say. Zoe says, cool. So all of this sounds good. Say, she says, and this is something you might say as you're about to propose something or put out an idea for others to listen to and possibly approve of. Say, should we invite Sarah to join us? So her suggestion is that Sarah might be a third person to add to this activity. It'll be fun. As I said, the more the merrier. Someone can play guitar while the other two play badminton. You can have musical badminton, which I've never tried before, but sounds fun. So yes, why not bring someone else to make it a more enjoyable day? Tony says, sure, the more the merrier. So there you go. The more people involved, especially with a fun social party type activity, the more people, the more fun, right? Because you're going to have more people to take part, to enjoy it, to laugh with, joke with, and have a grand old time with, in this case, on their great picnic. So that's what they're going to be doing. I think we're going to be joining them next after this little break when we hear the second part of the dialogue. 2. Inviting a friend. Zoe calls Sarah to invite her to the picnic.
Hi, Sarah. Tony and I are planning a picnic at Riverside Park next Sunday. Want to join us?
A picnic with Tony the Lemonade King? I wouldn't miss it.
Great. Can you bring something?
Sure. How about some homemade cookies? And I'll grab a picnic tent too.
Smart thinking. And maybe we should bring some bug spray as well.
Good idea. So where are we meeting and at what time?
By the 16th water gate of Riverside Park at 10 a.m.
Perfect. I'll also bring some napkins for the inevitable Who Can Eat the Messiest contest.
Deal. See you then.
I can't wait. Bye.
第二部分看到形容词 homemade， 它的意思是家里自制的。例如 Lucy let the homemade wine ferment for several weeks before bottling it. Lucy 让自制的葡萄酒发酵好几周后才装瓶。也可以说 Jeff brought homemade cookies to the party. Jeff 带了自制饼干参加派对。继续介绍形容词 inevitable， 表示不可避免的或是必然发生的。我们可以说 It is inevitable that Terry will win the game since he is ahead by 20 points. Terry 已经领先了20分，他必然会赢得这场比赛。又或者说It was inevitable that Ian was going to get caught cheating on his exam. Ian 会被逮到考试作弊是必然的。接着看到 messy 这个单字，它是形容词，它的意思是脏乱的或是凌乱的。例如 Roger cleaned his messy apartment before his parents visited. Roger 在父母来访前清理过了他脏乱的公寓了。再看一个例子 Isabel's desk is always messy. Isabel 的桌子总是很凌乱。最后介绍名词 contest， 指的是比赛或是竞争。举例来说 The town held a contest to see who could eat the most food. 该城镇办了一场比赛，看谁能吃最多的食物。又或者说 Carol won the piano contest. Carol 赢得那场钢琴比赛。另外补充这个字念为 contest 的时候当动词使用，有争辩或是抗议的意思。造个例句The team contested the referee's penalty. 该队抗议裁判的裁罚。或者 Phil contested his traffic ticket. Phil 对他的交通罚单提出抗辩。
Okay, the second part of our dialogue for today involves Zoe and Sarah, and this is all about inviting a friend, okay? So that means you're asking someone to come to your function, whether it be a wedding or, in this case, a picnic. So Zoe wants to invite Sarah to the picnic, and Zoe says, "Hi, Sarah! Tony and I are planning a picnic at Riverside Park next Sunday. Want to join us? Do you want to come? Do you want to participate?" And Sarah says, "A picnic with Tony the Lemonade King? I wouldn't miss it." So she's obviously aware that Tony is an expert at making lemonade, and his other specialty was brownies. I'm sure he can make other things as well. So she would not miss out on this opportunity. Why would you want to pass an opportunity to have such a great glass of lemonade? It sounds pretty tasty to me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want to try Tony's lemonade. I've never heard someone be given the title the Lemonade King. That's pretty impressive. So yes, definitely Sarah is going to come along for that, even if it's just for a glass of lemonade. So Zoe laughs at that nickname. She might not have heard Tony being called the Lemonade King, or she's also laughing because his reputation is so well known for making this great lemonade. So she says, "Great. Can you bring something? Now that we're going to have a few more people, we might need a little bit more food. And of course, the more people bring, the more interesting variety of tasty things there will be to pick and choose from." Sarah says, "Sure. How about some homemade cookies? Yeah, brownies, cookies, why not? The more the merrier in food as well." Of course, she's talking about homemade cookies, not store-bought cookies. So if you buy them in a bag from the supermarket, they are store-bought. If you make them at home from scratch, as we would say, using flour and sugar and milk and chocolate and baking them yourself and doing all of that stuff at home on your own, those are homemade. So homemade cookies have that reputation of being a little bit tastier, and certainly more love goes into homemade cookies than into something you might buy from the store. So she'll bring some homemade cookies she will make herself, and I'll grab a picnic tent too. Okay, a picnic tent. I guess that's a little bit different than a normal camping tent. Might be a little bit smaller. It might not have all the closed sides to it because you won't be sleeping in it. You're just using it maybe to get away from the sun or the rain, if you should have some too. So it's a simple shelter that they can use while they're on the picnic.
Come to think of it, I think I saw lots of people with picnic tents at Nangang Park a while ago. I guess they've got a big lawn there where you can have picnics on the grass. So lots of people had picnic tents there. And of course, they probably have those kinds of picnics all over Taiwan. And Zoe says, "Smart thinking. That's a great idea. And maybe we should bring some bug spray as well." Now, that's a problem at picnics. Of course, you got bugs. They can tell that there's food there, especially the ants, but maybe some mosquitoes and flies as well. And you could bring some bug spray and spray it around so the bugs kind of leave you alone. Yeah, the bug spray might help out to keep those pests away from you. And Sarah says that's a good idea. And so where are we meeting and at what time? So remember, they're going to have the picnic at Riverside Park, but Riverside Park is probably pretty big. So where exactly are we going to meet at Riverside Park, and what is the meeting time?
All right, so we have all the details of the picnic. We just have to know now where to meet to begin the picnic. And Zoe tells her by the 16th water gate of Riverside Park at 10 a.m. All right, I like those nice specific instructions or directions about where to go. So we know Riverside Park, but since it's a park along the river, just from the name we can guess stretches quite a long distance, maybe several kilometers from one end of the park to the other. So where? The 16th water gate. This is a very Taiwanese reference because, of course, a lot of these riverside parks, especially here in Taipei, have kind of big walls around them, a little bit back from the riverside to, of course, prevent flooding during typhoons and other storms and stuff. And so they have these big walls, but of course the walls will have openings in them, these water gates. So this will be how you access the park to go biking along there or hiking along there or use the basketball courts they often have nearby the river. But they can close them during storms, so you can probably find it on a map, or as you're driving along this wall along the length of the park, you can see each gate has a different number. So find the 16th one. It will probably be at a popular area of the park where a lot of people have a picnic, but that's the one that we'll meet at. Kind of like saying I'll meet you at exit C of the MRT or door number 9 of the train station or something like that. Just giving you a very precise location and a time. time. Sarah says perfect, giving us the idea that she knows this gate. This is a place that she's been before. I'll also bring some napkins for the inevitable who can eat the messiest contest. Okay, so I think Sarah has also had a picnic with these folks before because she's bringing some napkins, something that you can wipe your mouth with or your hands with. You might also call this a serviette, as some people do, but basically that paper towel that you use to keep your hands clean or your mouth clean while you're eating. And this is for the inevitable who can eat the messiest contest. So picnics are often not the place to show off your best table manners and how polite you can be. Don't take the King or the Queen of England on a picnic because, they'll get their hands dirty and they don't want to be messy. Messy is not being clean. And so of course, someone will spill some mustard or spill some lemonade or something on them. They'll get some chocolate from the brownie on their shirt or on their mouth. So they'll have this sort of joke contest. It's not a real contest or game or competition. It's kind of a joke. Who can eat the messiest? Who can end up with the most food on their mouth, their hands, their clothes? And of course, then they'll have the napkins. And this is inevitable. It's inevitable that someone will be messy or unclean, get their hands dirty. If something is inevitable, it's bound to happen. It is definitely going to happen. I'm not telling you when or where. I'm just saying there's no chance that someone is not going to get themselves messy because you're eating with your hands outside, sitting on the ground. So yes, this is not the place to have your neatest, most polite, most delicate table manners.
Right. And of course, yes, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Of course, usually the guys will probably do that. The girls will be nice and tidy. The guys want to show off their messy skills. And Zoe is laughing. Deal. Okay, so that just means I agree. This is a deal. We have agreed to the conditions here. See you then. And Sarah says, I can't wait. Bye. And it sounds like they're going to have a really good time having a picnic at Riverside Park. We're at the end of our explanation for today. Let's listen to Hanny now.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在课文第一部分的对话里， Tony 和 Zoe 讨论到野餐要带的食物。那么 Zoe 提议说， How about some finger sandwiches, fruit skewers and chicken salad? 在第二部分的对话里， Zoe 邀请 Sarah 一起野餐，并请她带点东西。那么 Sarah 这时候说， How about some homemade cookies? 好，那这边我们就是要比较一下 how about 跟 what about 的异同。我们先来看看相同点。 How about 和 what about 用来提出建议，询问是否考虑其他人事物，询问对方的意见，或者是引出新的主题，那就可以表达什么什么如何呢？你认为什么什么怎么样呢？例如 I like singing and dancing. How about you? 或者是 What about you? 我喜欢唱歌跳舞，你呢？ How about going to the beach tomorrow? 或是 What about going to the beach tomorrow? 明天去海边玩怎么样啊？那接着我们看到不同点是，请求对方给你东西，或者是询问对方是否愿意做某事时，我们就只能用 How about。 像 How about you drive me home and we can talk more on the way? 不如你开车送我回家，我们就可以在路上多聊一点，怎么样啊？好，那么用于询问对于某事该如何处理，该怎么处理时，那这时候只能使用 what about。 假设我们跟朋友聊到减少塑胶使用，聊到环保牙刷，那也许你就突然想到 But what about toothpaste? Toothpaste usually comes in a plastic tube. 但牙膏怎么办啊？牙膏通常都装在塑胶管里啊。好，那么另外在课文第一部分的最后， Tony 他有说一句 The more the merrier， 人越多越热闹，多多益善。这边我们要介绍双重比较级。双重比较级是用来表达两种情况之间的消长关系，表达越怎么样就越怎么样。那它的句型是 the 比较级，主词加动词，逗号 the 比较级，主词加动词。其中的比较级可以是形容词比较级或是副词比较级。举例来说 The earlier you start saving, the sooner you can reach your goals. 你越早开始存钱，就能越快达成目标。那么比较级的部分也可以用到形容词比较级来修饰名词，像是你可以用 more 或是 less 修饰不可数名词的数量，或者是用 more 或 fewer 来修饰可数名词的数量。例如 Is it true that the older you get, the fewer hours of sleep you need? 年纪越大，需要的睡眠时数越少，这是真的吗？好，那么另外，如果句型里面的主词没有指定对象，而且动词是 be 动词的话，我们可以省略掉主词和 be 动词，就像课文这个 the more the merrier 的用法，或者是像我们说 the sooner the better， 就是越快越好的意思。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Essential. Food and clean water are essentials for human survival. Specialty. This restaurant's specialty is fresh seafood dishes. Maximum. The maximum speed allowed on this road is 80 kilometers per hour. Inevitable. Mistakes are inevitable when you are learning something new. Messy. The room was so messy that I couldn't find my keys. Contest. Natasha won first place in the singing contest last night.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Mike.
See you next time.